Can we do We Listen and We Don't Judge, but fanfiction edition? My version would be I can't read or write anything that doesn't have angst and at least one sort of trigger warning. This is my most tame answer. Credit to Reddit user Zayusani for starting this thread on the fanfiction subreddit. Let's go read some answers. And remember, don't judge. My fandom is chock full of ex-reader shippers, and I can't for the life of me understand. But these are my freaks, and I'd die for them. No, I will not read a word of what you wrote, and no, I will avoid your spaces. Yes, I love you so much. I love bashing fic, even if it's poorly written, terribly out of character, and bashing a character I actually like. Chances are that I will still read it and enjoy it. I am one of my OTP's tags on Tumblr. As in, I'm the only one that posts in it. For real. The posts before mine are from over a year ago. It's one of the most hated ships in the entire fandom, but I'm still planning stories for them, and I will continue to fill the tag with art. I refuse to read a fic when there is no happy ending tag. I sometimes even go to such an extent as checking the ending. I also refuse reading any fic with the major character death tag. I attach to the characters too much, and I just can't. I can't. I was writing while nearing anaphylactic an hour ago. I've written while in the hospital, while in the crisis unit for mental health, with a broken wrist. Nothing stops me, almost to a dangerous point. AO3 writer curse got you. As a reader, unless it's really good, if the characters use nicknames I don't think they'd canonically use in the fic, I'm out. As a writer, I project onto practically every character I write about. That's why I'm able to write them. I love making my male blorbos helpless, frail damsels in distress. I don't care if it's technically bad character writing. There's just something about that Victorian Gothic vulnerability that I just go crazy for. I'm talking fainting, them being carried bridal style, all the works. And I have a bad habit of reading and writing instead of doing my homework. Whoops. It's okay, I would literally write fic in my classes in college. I had to plug in my laptop for a presentation, and the dang thing pulled up my fic instead. Luckily, it was a small class that I knew fairly well, and there was no judgment. And now, I literally write fanfiction at my adult 40-hour-a-week job. I am guilty of making perfectly capable adults into helpless idiots for the sake of cute hurt comfort fics, and hold no regrets. I love my ship to death, but I can barely read fluff because somewhere deep inside me, I don't know if they can ever truly be happy in a relationship together. I love when a ship is so toxic that they're miserable with and without each other, so they're never actually happy. I think my kink is enemies to lovers, and I subconsciously carried that into my own love life, and now I just ended up hating everyone, but secretly want to make out with them? So when I write romantic fics, especially if it involves dancing, I feel like my mind is trying to live up to the absolute emotion I felt when watching Giselle and Robert dance in Enchanted for the first time as a child. Whenever I watch that movie now and get to that scene, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this was the catalyst for so many things. If there's no romance, I'm not reading it. I only seek out fanfics because I'm interested in a certain pairing, so genfics are of zero interest to me. Yeah, same. Anytime someone says, fanfiction isn't all romance, technically true, I think, maybe for you, but not for me. I hate when a story focuses only on romance. It feels too empty, you know? Also, I kind of don't like established relationships. Don't know why, but I just can't read one. At this point in my life, I am here for the funnies, and I can take or leave literally anything else. Romance, angst, fluff, action, adventure. I do not care, bro. give me jokes. Truly the reason why I keep crawling back to Teen Wolf fics after well over a decade. Never have any other fandom creators made me laugh so much. Hanahaki disease as a concept terrifies me to the point that even seeing it as a tag or summary in a story gives me a visceral reaction. I don't like any of the generic AUs every fandom has. ABO, soulmates, Hanahaki disease, coffee shop, school/high school/college, different occupations from canon, anything that removes the magic or superpowers or high tech or anything distinctive about the setting and replaces it with a bland, real-world, contemporary setting, etc. Tags have been blocked with extreme prejudice. I can't watch any show without reading fanfiction throughout. I've never finished a show that doesn't have fanfiction. I don't care to become a better writer. I only care to put fun, cute, dark, and maybe thoughtful stories out there. Likewise, I don't much care about the quality of the fics I read, and probably can't reliably tell you if they're technically good, but only if I personally like them or not. This is so hard for me to grasp, but I don't have to, so long as you're enjoying yourself. I'm not a fan of no crit culture. I can understand not wanting criticism, but I think it should be an opt-out situation rather than opt-in. Fanfiction is a passion and a hobby, yeah, but I want to improve my writing skills, and I don't like the idea of readers being too afraid to comment honestly for the fear that I'll get offended and get mad at them for giving me constructive criticism. Pregnancy, and especially mpreg, I die. I also hate love at first sight, but I think that's because I'm demisexual and need the characters to at least have talked to each other before they go, wow, that's my ride or die. I can't stand pregnancy or mpreg because I just don't want kids and I can't enjoy reading someone else wanting one. If I'm ever working on a fic that includes a ship, I can't help but include a babies ever after element to it. Even if I never actually write it, there are fan kids planned. A close friend of mine is writing a throuple fanfic, like my ship plus one more, but I don't think I'm gonna read it, like, ever, but I never told her that. I'm very, very, very monogamous with my ship and myself. I'll be more likely to read a super, super dark dead dove than a throuple fic. In my case, I'd say I'm incredibly silently petty about my no-TPs. I feel sour and squicked out just by looking at any picture of them, and I have the tags and keywords for them blocked everywhere. I don't even go into the AO3 and Tumblr fandom tags to not get jump scared with a single mention or no-TP tag. And when I do encounter them, I take a moment to seethe silently because, it's silly, but I can't help it. I don't mind the ships existing, I just don't want to see them. Out of sight, out of mind is my motto for inner peace. I also low-key judge the shippers of those pairings, but I'd never go out of my way to tell them about it or rain on their parade. I just stay in my lane. With very few exceptions, I do not care what the ship is. If the premise seems even remotely interesting, or I see a pairing and think, OMG, not once have I ever seen them paired together, gimme the fic. Also, if I become even remotely interested in a new piece of media, I will stop consuming that media to instead read fics about it for a bit before returning. Spoilers be damned. The main female OC I use for my fics is not even an OC. She is literally me. I still write self-insert, self-indulgent fanfic at my big age of 25, and you can pry that shit from my cold dead hands. I just like writing fics where I'm a main character's pretty girl. I will argue, though, a future fic of mine will feature a proper OC, though that OC is just a male version of me, so yeah. I pretty much exclusively read OC-centric longfics. I'm afraid that it's a sign of some chronic need to reader insert into every story I engage with, but there's just something profoundly uninteresting to me about fics that don't have an OC as the focus. Counterintuitively though, I also dislike fics with too many OCs. The more I like a character, the more I want to put them into the whump machine. I love reading about my faves being physically injured, going through mental health crises, being tortured and assaulted and dealing with the trauma from that, etc. And I always want to give other people a disclaimer that I do like these characters and want them to ultimately be happy, but this is just the way I show my love. I want my favorite characters to suffer because I love them. If they aren't traumatized in some way, I will probably lose interest in reading or writing them. I only write prolifically when I'm doing badly mentally. For me, writing is a kind of escapism incompatible with the mental presence and real-world engagement necessary to be a functional adult. It's a thing I start doing when the stress becomes dissociation and I disconnect from my real life. I can legit draw a graph of how hard/stressful/shit is my life over time, and it will track neatly with my fanfiction output. I love my fanfics so much, but I know when I start writing them, shit is bad. I promised my readers I'll come back with a new chapter, but I never did. And it's not because I'm too busy, but simply because I've lost all interest in that fandom. I've got a fic like this too. Multiple people hanging on a new chapter, but to be honest, I just don't care anymore. And it's a small fandom, which makes it even worse. I've got a work in progress I haven't updated since June 2020, another work in progress I haven't updated since March 2019, another work in progress since 2015, 2 works in progress since 2014, another since 2012, and a couple of works in progress since 2010 to 2012. I will never read a one-shot that is over 4,000 words. I read one-shots for something short and fun that I can read multiple of at once. I only read ship fics, but they also need lore if it's a long fic. I cannot stand long fics that don't have much plot or focus too much in on the romance. I can't read long fics unless they're mpreg/abo. I love reading my own fanfic. I only write exactly the kind of stories I want to read, and so I enjoy reading them. I don't think this is vain either. I'm a canon rewriter, and I'm pretty sure I'm a better writer than some of the authors of the canon works I rewrite. Most of which is visual or animated storytelling, so I'm not a better artist, musician, cinematographer, etc. But the pure writing bit? Yeah. Arrogant? Maybe. But I do find myself attracted to some truly atrocious stuff. So who knows? I feel like a lot of us think we're overestimating ourselves when we rewrite canon or write canon divergent AUs. But look at fandoms like Miraculous Ladybug, where they live and die by those kind of fics. Sometimes the canon narrative choices, character directions, and story beats just don't work, and that's okay. Sometimes I like a good dark AU, or dark version of a character. Sometimes I want to read a story where the villain succeeds, or the protagonist turns evil. No, I don't want or need them to have a change of heart and turn good again. And if a character is being held captive and they're not being mistreated or tortured, then I don't necessarily want them to escape. So what if they develop some Stockholm Syndrome? I want to see how it plays out. I am bad at characterization. I do my best because I think it's very important, but my best is still mediocre on a good day. I try to make up for it by leaning on my strengths, creative plots that still make sense, good spelling, etc., accepting that I'm not cut out for writing deep character studies, and focusing on consistency even when accuracy is a little off. Maybe a little unintentional out-of-characterness is more forgivable if it's consistently wrong in the same way throughout the story, instead of all over the place. I will mischaracterize people for the sake of the plot beats. If that character never cries, I'll make them cry. I honestly beat myself up way too much about getting characters perfectly, but I'm trying to unlearn that part of me and just say fuck it. I feel like if I can execute it well enough, it'll work. but I'm often not that good at actually executing it. Sometimes when I see a fanfic with a lot of potential but with not that good writing, I want to fix it. I comment and bookmark more than I ever kudos. One reason is because comments can actually express my thoughts and reactions in the moment, and I think a bookmark is better than a kudos since it's saying, "This is a fic so nice I'd read it twice." Another reason is that I just genuinely find comments and bookmarks easier to remember than kudos. I know that's nonsensical since kudos take less effort than both of those actions combined, but I don't really care. Needless to say, reason 1 is easier to admit than reason 2. RPF fanfics, from my point of view, very much make a line between the real-life people and fics. And there is kind of like almost no connection because it's all so rooted in these made-up characters, characteristics, billions of unrealistic settings, etc. I also had no idea it was looked down upon because I think most of us RPF writers really don't associate these people with the real ones at all. So no, I don't ship these people at all. I have stories to tell. They are my vessels. We listen and we don't judge. I started reading some extremely questionable ships because I hate a majority of the canon and popular ones for a piece of media I like, and I read nearly everything in my fave rare pair tag and was unwilling to switch fandoms. So now I like multiple ships that are extremely controversial in the fandom, mostly amongst the younger crowd. Everything in my head is so much more inappropriate than what I write. Like, I wrote a scene where 2 characters kissed in a closet, but there was this voice in the back of my head going, "Make them fuck, make them fuck, make them fuck." I don't care how much research you put into your fic. I'm just here for the smut. I also put 0 research into my own fics. I'm just here to write smut. I get this. I don't know how people put so much effort into research. It's a slog for me to even do just a little bit. I try, but I hate it, so I don't think I really do a sufficient amount. Men laying eggs. Out the back. That is all. Big thank you to my Patreon members, My Little Ruse, Kuski55, Nebulatic Vexen, Donka42, John Huang, Laser Scorpio, Night Avenger, Mintara, Somnophobic Danny, Savage Otters, Valzy, RG Laws Writer, Terabyte AIX, Kestrel, and Dragonborn Canid. Thank you so much for extra support on Patreon. It means the world to me. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm always wishing you the best. You guys are awesome. I love having you around. And the same goes to my YouTube channel members, my Mini Ruse, Taylor Thompson, Foxstar Killer, and This Person 10. Thank you so much for your extra support. I'm so glad to have you be a part of my YouTube channel. Very grateful for you. Thanks for being here. And I hope you guys are doing great. Thank you to everyone else for watching. I'd love to see your confessions in the comments. Now is the time for us all to listen and not judge. So tell me, what's your confession as a fanfiction reader or writer? I won't judge. I hope no one else will. It's cool that you're here at the end of the video. I'll see you in the next video. I hope. Until then, take care of yourself, and bye-bye.